Hello, I'm Kevin Carney with Inbound Marketing University, and I'll be walking you through this discussion of small business online marketing on the cheap. But we're going to wait a few minutes for webinar attendees to arrive before we start the actual presentation. So bear with me, and I'll be back very soon. Okay, again, I'm Kevin Carney with Inbound Marketing University. This presentation is Small Business Online Marketing on the Cheap, and we're going to wait a few more minutes for some additional attendees to join. So please bear with me. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to get started now, and people who show up a little bit late will simply be a little bit late. Again, I'm Kevin Carney, and my focus in life is to teach small business owners how to harness the power of what's called inbound marketing by spending very little money, paying with sweat equity, if you will, rather than cash. So I'm going to jump back to the presentation, and I'm going to describe what it is, how it works, why you should care, and what you do to make use of this capability in your business, independent of what your business is. So bear with me while I get the screen, the presentation slides up again. Okay. Again, I'm Kevin Carney of Inbound Marketing University, and this presentation shows you how to market your small business online on the cheap. Hang on, I'm not actually showing you the slides. Bear with me while I get control of the webinar controls. So why is this webinar relevant to you? As you know, the lifeblood of every business is a steady stream of high quality leads, without which your business will either barely hang on or die a slow death. Your business needs leads whether it's brand new, in a time of transition, or coming out of a slump, as many businesses are, as this economic downturn comes to an end. The 20th century model of generating leads is based on advertising and face-to-face networking, referral groups, an endless series of one-on-one coffee dates, chamber and other business mixers, ads in the newspapers and local magazines, handing out brochures at various events, and cold calls. Now, not all of these are out of date. I still attend some amount of referral groups, one-on-ones, and business mixers, but newspaper ads, brochures, and cold calls have become less effective. I know some career salespeople of 25 years plus who tell me cold calling no longer works. They think it's because many people let calls roll to voicemail, but whatever the reason, a better way has to be found. Now I'll talk a little bit about technological disruption. While these disruptions we've all heard of are triggered by technologies that are new, these disruptions occur because of the economic implications of those technologies. The music industry was completely disrupted when the cost of distributing a single song fell to almost zero. And yes, that economic change was caused by the technology of the internet. The publishing industry has gone through a similar disruption because of the internet. As newspapers and magazines moved online, they ran into an expectation that content on the internet is free, which is tough when what you sell is content. And now marketing is having its turn. The economic effect that's driving this is that the cost of publishing on the internet has dropped to almost nothing. You have a domain and a WordPress website, and you're in business. When you combine that with search engines changing the way we look for stuff, marketing has been completely disrupted. And that's created a need to network in a new way. Wouldn't it be great if there was an effective way to network across the internet that would benefit businesses of the people participating? Well, the good news is there is. And as I'm going to show you, it's very similar to what we do in what we call the real world. We just translate some of those disciplines, website to website. And well, you'll see later in this presentation what can result from that. So who am I? Like many of us, I'm a refugee from corporate America. I have a bit of an idealist streak, and I believe in supporting small businesses in their efforts to compete against Wall Street big businesses. I have always had a strong track record of teaching and coaching, even when I worked in high tech, both as an individual contributor and as a senior manager. My intention is to bring the power of effective online marketing to small businesses who can not afford to hire expensive agencies and incorrectly think that this is not something they can do on their own. While the cost of the infrastructure of your website is cheap, the domain name and the WordPress hosting, keeping your website current requires time, effort, and knowledge, and that is not cheap. As an SEO consultant, companies have paid me $2,500 plus per month to establish and grow their online presence. I know some good agencies that charge $8,500 a month to $10,000 a month, and they deliver results for people who can afford to pay that kind of money. But small businesses simply cannot afford to pay that kind of money, but they've been repeatedly told that marketing yourself online is too complicated to do on your own. This is creating what I call a digital marketing divide. And I'm here to tell you that you can do this both affordably and effectively, but only by doing it yourself. I'll show you the recipe and the secret sauce, which is actually not much of a secret and is an integral part of making it work. If you doubt how critical your online presence is these days, think about, where do you buy books? From day one, Amazon.com got the importance of a strong online presence. It is, in fact, the basis of their existence. Borders, on the other hand, was too late to figure this out. And I need to say what happened. Additionally, when you're looking for a place to eat, word of mouth recommendations are good, but sooner or later, we all go to Yelp. I even know some business owners who feel Yelp is evil incarnate for some of the business practices. But when they're in a new part of town and they're looking for a burrito joint, they still go to Yelp. And how do you make referrals? Do you carry cards and brochures from your referral network and hand them out? Or do you send an email with a link to a website? And maybe that email doesn't have a link to the website because you want to get the email out quickly to make the referral and didn't have time to go to the website and share it. That last point is even people who were referred to you via a face-to-face meeting search for you online. They know your business and your name, and they search for you expecting to find your website. So having a website that is easy to find helps even with referrals that are made face-to-face. I'm sure you've all heard the phrase search engine optimization, or SEO. However, SEO is one little piece of the puzzle. It is foundational to being found online. It has to be there. But in and of itself, it's not enough. For that reason, and for others, you need a fuller program of inbound marketing, of which SEO is a necessary piece. In a few slides, I'll explain what inbound marketing is and why it's so important. But first, let me explain the importance of being found via organic search traffic. This chart comes from a study by BrightEdge. BrightEdge is a large digital advertising agency that handles very large clients, most of whom you've heard of. Microsoft, Adobe, Marriott, LendingTree, and other big brands hire BrightEdge. They do enterprise scale online marketing. They have access to the analytics of thousands and thousands of websites and billions of web server page loads. What their study shows is that 51% of all web visitors show up through organic search, while only 5% show up from all social media sites combined. Inbound marketing is all about attracting people to your website through organic search. So this study and this chart should clarify in your mind the importance of organic search to your online presence. Being found organically has these two primary benefits. Leads from inbound sources are significantly cheaper than leads from traditional advertising. This is a conclusion of a study conducted by HubSpot, who's a leading provider of rather expensive inbound marketing tools. They came up with a hard and fast number. Inbound leads cost 61% less. Now, I personally cannot verify that it's 61% as compared to 59 or 62, but I do know from experience that that number is absolutely in the ballpark. Inbound leads are so much cheaper, it's not even funny. And even better, leads from inbound sources are also much higher quality leads. And this makes sense when you realize that that's the way inbound works. By the time you meet your prospect, they already know what you do and have expressed an interest in your product or services. And you know this because they found you and they reached out to contact you through your website. Now let me share with you how Google rates websites, which, by the way, is not a secret. Google freely shares this information. Google works to quantify what web pages are of high value, and they do this with human raters who have been trained in how Google wants them to rate web pages. So these human raters, they log on to this Google system, and then a web page is basically thrown up on their screen, and they have 120 seconds in which to assign it a rating. Google has a 4-point rating system, and it's incredibly practical. The highest rating Google assigns to a web page, the highest praise that Google gives to a web page is useful. Yeah, that's right, useful. And perhaps you can guess that the lowest rating is called, and I'm not making this up, this is in a Google document, useless. You got to love how practical this rating system is. And the other two ratings are relevant and slightly relevant. So if you want your website to rank high on Google and be found, you've got to provide information that is useful. This slide provides a high-level overview of inbound marketing, and the next slide shows the recipe. The secret sauce follows in a bit. In a nutshell, inbound marketing is all about attracting your audience through blogging. Now, I know many people think of blogging as a hobby activity, but it is also the core activity of inbound marketing. We've just given it a professionally sounding name to enable us to make it easier to sell. But business blogging, by any other name, is still blogging. And on top of the blogging activity, you overlay your marketing intention. You implement what is called your sales funnel, implemented through well-placed calls to action. In a nutshell, this slide represents inbound marketing. And here's the recipe. You publish. And in terms of publishing, what matters is quantity, quality, consistency, and longevity. I'll talk more about these later. Networking is focused on what's called link building, and I'll talk about more of that later as well. Conversion, of course, is overlaying your publishing activities with your marketing intention with well-placed calls to action. And commitment is what it takes on a daily basis to make this happen. I'm going to go through this slide again, as this is the recipe. The recipe consists of publishing content to your website that appeals to both people and search engines, networking with others for purposes of obtaining valuable backlinks, overlaying your marketing intention on your publishing activities with well-placed calls to action, and being committed to this activity being a priority for your business. Let's talk a little bit about publishing. So how often is often? Ideally, 2 short posts every day and 1 or 2 long posts every week. What makes this take only 1 to 2 hours a day is to focus on useful and short. An effective format is a question and answer blog where questions that prospects have asked you in the past become blog posts. 1 question and answer becomes 1 blog post. How good is good? On the one hand, you're not writing research papers. And on the other hand, your blog posts need to provide useful information. Finding the right balance is much easier than most people initially think. What is consistent? This means at regular intervals. If you publish twice a day, you schedule posts for every 12 hours. If you publish once a day, you schedule posts for every 24 hours. Now, I do want to comment that the more often you publish, the quicker this works. Okay, so for how long do you do this? When you consider that modern marketing looks like journalism, and rather than campaigns and advertisements, it's become publishing, you'll understand that the answer is forever. However, once business owners see it start to work, they become excited about doing this on a daily basis. Networking with other small business owners creates a virtuous cycle where everyone helps to initially find everyone else. I'll explain why this is so important. But for now, in terms of SEO, being found means being linked to, having your blog posts be commented upon, and having your blog posts be shared via social media. Being linked to and being commented upon directly have a positive effect on your search ranking. Being shared via social media exposes your blog posts to more people, And as you write better and better stuff, these more people will link to the stuff that really works for them and comment upon those blog posts. So being linked to and being commented upon has a direct positive effect on your social media. And being shared via social media exposes you to more people who, when they like your stuff, link to you and comment upon you. Okay, this slide is the secret sauce, or explains the secret sauce. One of the dynamics of being found online is being found online requires having been found online already. Websites that are known rank higher. And again, I know I'm kind of flogging a dead horse with this, but in SEO terms, being found means being linked to, being commented upon, and being shared via social media. Big businesses buy this. They literally pay people to link to them, to comment on their blog posts, and to discuss their blog posts on social media. Small businesses don't have the money for that. So we need to band together to help each other out. And this banding together is the secret sauce. By finding each other's websites, we prime the pump, in a manner of speaking, and we create a rising tide that lifts all our boats. Now let's talk about commitment. This will cost you 1 to 2 hours a day and $47 a month. The $47 a month is for membership in my online school and community, should you choose to work with me. And my question for you now is, if you could spend $47 a month and 1 to 2 hours a day on an activity that you knew would transform your business, would you find a way? And the answer, of course, is yes, you would. I have seen businesses be completely transformed by this. In 5 to 7 months of diligent effort, I've seen them go from famine to feast. Would you like that for your business? Okay, so here's what you need to make this happen. You need a WordPress blog. Now, if your main website is WordPress already, you can use it. If it isn't, you can bring up a WordPress website on the side. You need a quality blog with good posts. You need royalty-free images. You need to build an internal link structure. And while I don't have time to go in depth in this presentation, I'll teach you how to do that. And you need a community of like-minded business professionals to work within to create that rising tide phenomenon. Now I'll share with you a list of some businesses on whose behalf I either did this when I was doing pure consulting, and people whom I've taught how to do this, who did it on their own and had success. Residential remodeling, a weight loss retreat company, motivational speaker, a functional medicine doctor, a wedding planner, healthy eating with a focus on Indian food, and Nepal tourism. This is a table taken from Google Analytics from one of the websites mentioned previously. I believe this was the weight loss retreat company. It shows an 1,800% increase in organic search traffic in the first 2.5 months. This is a similar table showing another website where during the initial 3-month ramp up, the increase in organic search traffic was 5,200%. This was the functional medicine doctor. This is the website of the motivational speaker. After the initial 3 months, his website experienced a 2,300% increase in organic search traffic. And after 5 months, he was able to prove to his publisher that he had an audience, which allowed him to secure the book deal, which was his short-term goal. So how does social media fit into this? Social media has a place in inbound marketing as a supplement to your website, not in place of your website. Remember the Bright Edge study from earlier, and please pay particular attention to the next slide. This is a chart from Google Analytics from one of the websites mentioned previously, the healthy eating one. The initial spikes that you see are where this student would send messages to her social media connections asking them to come take a look at something on her website. And as you can see, they did, but as you can see, fewer and fewer came each week. Why? Because social media updates are interruptions, and we all already have too many interruptions. Yet you can clearly see when the organic search traffic started arriving, the visitors who arrived through organic search greatly outnumbered the visitors who arrived through social media. Additionally, these people were friends and families. They may or may not have been interested in what her website spoke about. These people found her website by doing an internet search. They were interested. If they were not interested, they wouldn't have shown up on the website at all. Okay, this is the student with the Nepal travel website. And as you can see, she did not promote her website through social media, with the possible exception of this one spike. And yet you can clearly see when visitors started showing up through organic search. This phenomenon of new sites experiencing an initial delay before visitors start showing up through organic search is so common, it has a name. It's called the Google sandbox effect. Websites are referred to as being in the sandbox. And this is one of the reasons longevity is important. Now let me address some of the common myths that are told about ranking your website. This is stuff I hear from people as I travel through the world. Myth number one is that it's all about SEO. And this is flat out not true. It's all about publishing, where everything you publish is written for people and properly formatted for search engines, properly formatted for good SEO. But good SEO in and of itself is no longer sufficient. Myth number two, infrequent long posts work better than frequent short posts. Also not true. Quality and consistency are important for the ranking of your website. While you do need to publish long posts periodically, it's the frequent short posts that give the longer posts authority by getting the attention of the search engines and getting these search engines to bring more people to your website. So if you find you have 1,000 words to say on a subject, you're better off breaking it into a 4-part series where each post is 250 words than you are to publish one post of 1,000 words. Myth number three, and this one is perhaps the most damaging. This is best left to the pros. If you can budget $2,500 a month or more, you can hire a quality agency who can build you an effective online presence. If that's too much for you, your only other choices are learn to do it yourself or don't do it. You really have three options: hire someone to do it for you, do it yourself, or give it up. Don't have it. Myth number four, keyword research is critical. Once upon a time, this was true. A high ranking could be achieved by keyword stuffing your web pages and your website overall. Those days are over. Today, what's critical is publishing stuff your desired audience finds useful. And just look at what a little persistence can do. The graph on the top of this slide is the functional medicine website I referred to earlier. It shows the initial 2.5-month ramp up of her website. The graph on the bottom shows the same website over a period of about 18 months. Even though the doctor reduced the amount of stuff she published, the number of visitors through organic search has remained constant. As a result of the inquiries she now gets through her website, she is now shifting her business model from a one-to-one fee for service to a model of group training and health education where she can amplify her presence and offer services to a wider group of people. I love this quote. What Bruce Lee said is as important to your inbound marketing as it was to him. Long-term consistency trumps short-term intensity. It just does. Now, people tell me why they can't start their business blog right away, and it generally comes down to one of two reasons. No one has the time to devote 1 to 2 hours a day. And that's fine as long as you understand the alternatives, which are hire an agency at $2,500 a month plus, or give up on online lead generation and sales. Alternatively, people tell me they need approval to spend $47 a month. And I can help with that. But first, I want to emphasize one very important point about being found online, and that is longevity. While the best time to start your business blog was 10 years ago, the second best time is now. Remember that Google sandbox effect. What works in terms of being found and generating leads online is knowledge plus community plus action. I told you I can help with that $47 a month. This means making the power of inbound marketing available to small businesses who otherwise, this specific means the online school and community of making the power of inbound marketing available to small businesses who otherwise cannot afford it came to me about 9 months ago. In a blinding flash of the obvious, I realized what was needed was an online school and community with a low monthly subscription rate. Since then, I've been working on the website structure and recording lessons, and I am now starting to bring on students and build the community. Because the community has more value when there are more members in it, and at this point, I'm initially seeding the community, I'm offering a discount. When you join now, your monthly membership will be reduced from $47 a month to $27 a month forever. This is not $27 for 3 months, and then in month 4 it goes to $47. This is $27 a month forever. And I still have, actually, that's not right. I still have 36 slots left. I didn't update the slide. So yeah, get yours while they're still available. Don't let it go to someone else. So look for the Get Started button on the right side of your screen and join us. And let's start building your online presence. Okay, so I'm going to stick around for Q&A. I'm going to stop the slides, and I'll go back to the video being me. And you have a chat capability on the right. And if you have any questions, by all means, please ask. Okay, so I did get one question from Jonathan about the providing of notes. The quality is already tops, and also the slides seem out of focus. Yeah, I'm sorry about the quality of the video. I don't have slides, but I can create them. I mean, basically, it would be the presentation reduced down. Oh, I have an answer. I actually have an ebook that explains this stuff. So if you want the ebook, let me know, leave a comment, and I'll send you an email. That'll address that question. So now the answer, Jonathan, is yes, I do, in a different format, and I'll send it to you. Are there any other questions? Okay, well, it looks like the answer is no. There are no additional questions. So that being the case, I'm going to end this webinar. I hope you found value in the webinar, and I hope you consider joining us in this effort to increase your online presence and grow your business or your website. So take care. And Jonathan, I'll send you an email later today with that ebook.